Glad that you're here to be able to do this with me. I know that you already have an extensive experience doing an interview style podcast, and I figured who better but you, my boon coon in his media game, to be able to help me kind of convey what I've been this process. I probably would have like jumped on live and asked the questions, but who knows
Mhm.
if they wanted to like see me and stuff like that. So thank you first and foremost, Emmanuel Williams from Socks and Sandals podcast. And I just wanted to say that it's a pleasure to be able to do this 3 weeks in a row. We're going strong. And I guess I'm tempted to make this one like the last episode of the year versus next week because like, what I mean, like the tide. This is the week that I'll be able to get this out and actually get eyes on it. So
Straight up.
how are you first and foremost, man?
I'm good, bro.
Yeah.
I'm great, man. Life is good. You know what I'm saying? Today was a weird day. It's a Monday. That's like really a Monday and not just so I actually worked today, which
Mhm.
actually felt good to work, to
Okay.
get back in the flow of
Oh,
things.
last week you
I hadn't been working for the past like 3 weeks. You know what I'm
whew,
saying? And so because
life.
I had PTO to burn because I never used my PTO. So yeah, so it just felt good to like get back in the rhythm and swing of things and just taking care of stuff. So yeah, bro.
Right, right.
But man, I just I couldn't wait. I know you was like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna get it to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I gotta find this episode of my guy on the balloon pop show.
I
You
was
know what I'm
thinking about
saying?
that
And
too. I was thinking about that. I was like, "Damn,
yeah,
I didn't even send it to E." And I was like, he's probably not even pressed to watch it like that.
nah, I was pressed to watch it, bro. I was like, nah, I gotta see this. And so I searched for it. I just literally typed in Oba
You lying, bro.
balloon, whatever, and then it popped. It was like the third
You
video that
lying,
popped up.
bro.
I swear to God, man. So
Wow. That's crazy.
yeah, man,
All
that
right.
shit worked out.
All right. Wow. That's good. That's crazy.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
All right. Well, tell me your initial thoughts before it even jumped off. Like, what were you thinking? What was going to happen? What did oh, like I guess this is the first episode you ever watched.
It's the first time I've ever just taken the time to watch an episode. Like I was telling you, all I've seen from this is what most people see. Well, maybe not most people, but like I just see the viral clips. And so even when you told me you was going on a show, I was like, damn, that's some messy type shit. Like Oba don't seem like he would do that. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen it with folks of our age group, you know what I'm saying? Like late
Mm,
30s, early 40s and all that. And so I should have known that if it was our age group, then it was going to be more mature and
for sure.
more regular than the sensational stuff that
Right,
goes viral.
right,
So
right.
I
Okay.
was pleased to see just a cool, calm, collected, you know what I'm saying, group of folks.
For sure. And it was a good time, for real, for real. Like even
Yeah,
pre-pro. I just wish anyway, we'll get into that. But it was good. And we got a group chat too. So the dudes, like we all still talk and we all are still, what I mean, like exchanging ideas and information, things like that. So it
that's
was a
what's
great
up. Y'all,
experience.
y'all, y'all went through that. It's kind of like what I was telling you with the TED Talk thing. Like y'all went through a very unique experience all together. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Like
Right.
how
Exactly.
many people could say I went on that show? You know what I'm saying? Y'all did it together. So
100%. And
that's dope.
it's cool because one of my favorite parts about this experience is that it's men putting themselves out there
Mm,
to for like partnership, for love. You know what I'm saying? Like honestly,
yeah,
we don't
yeah.
have those kinds of conversations. You know what I'm saying? Men aren't talking I don't talk to many men about their feelings and what they're willing to do to potentially find a partner.
Mm.
And it really felt like guys were interested in doing that. It didn't feel like, well, it did feel like somebody was in there for clout. But it definitely felt like people were
Oh,
actually
we already know who was in there for clout. What's his name? Dez.
and it was so
They call
interesting.
me Dez. Like,
ABC
nigga, nobody asked you that. What's your name, bro? Like, your alias and shit. Like, nobody.
Bro, it's so interesting that and that gets rewarded because so many
Oh, for
people
sure.
so many people are saying, "Please don't bring him back," that they're probably gonna bring him back because there's so many
Mm.
comments that are saying, "Oh my
He's
god,
a villain.
he's the villain. He's the villain."
Yeah.
And I noticed that it seems that people want to hate watch or people think that they'll get more engagement with people that hate watch versus people that actually wanna see what happens to a match. I could be
Mm.
wrong. But that's the sense of it. But I'm quite I'm getting off track. Let's start this with one of your inquiries, and then you'll lead us off, man.
No, for sure, bro. Like, and feel free to hop in and because this is very much your moment. But first things first, bro. Like to see you on that stage, to see you on the screen, I was like, yo, this is surreal, man. Like because someone like yourself that, and I've told you this before, like you are the OG of like relationship shows, relationship podcasting, radio. Like you was doing this at K Boo, what 2016, 2017.
2017, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 2018. And so you've been doing this. And I shared this with a few of the homies. And it was like, man, Oba's responses, bro. He sounded like he should have a relationship podcast. I was like, he already does. I said he been doing this
That's
before
what
Kevin Samuels, before the pandemic, like, and
yeah.
so that's why your responses are so refined and whatnot. But I'll kick it off like this.
Hmm.
What was it like hearing other dudes' responses, and were you judging their responses? Because I'm gonna be honest, when I heard their response, like, man, that sounded like hella basic, or they're not really answering the questions directly, or it almost sounded like they weren't prepared. And me knowing you, you don't have to prepare, you don't have to stay ready because, or you don't have to get ready because you stay ready. You know what I'm saying? So when you were hearing dudes say stuff, were you like, this ain't no competition, or what was going through your mind when you were hearing their initial responses?
I get that. That's a good question, man. I think at first it was definitely knowing that the way we were talking before the show even started, it felt different as soon as we were in front of the cameras and we're actually doing the show. You get what I mean?
Mm.
So I don't know if I
Mhm.
could feel anyone else's nervousness, but I definitely felt like we were on stage. It felt like niggas, people were on stage.
Mhm.
So it wasn't
Yeah.
so much like a roundtable discussion. It wasn't so much just shooting a shit. It was very much, yo, whatever you're gonna say in these 15 seconds, like make sure
Mm.
you're getting it out. And I think, some people did it better than others. You know what I mean? Like some people were
Yeah.
just very authentic to who they are. When I think about Ice, when I think about Dan, I'm just like, oh yeah, I feel like that's exactly what he would have said if these cameras weren't even on. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's the exact
Mhm.
answer that we would have gotten from him. Work hard, play harder, or you know what I'm saying? Like whatever it would have been, I said that's definitely him. And it wasn't so much like, oh, I'm about to kill this question. I'm about to da 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 da. Because if you really look
Yeah.
at me, like I'll be in my head like, dang, like how how am I
Yeah.
going to I already know what I want to say. How can I just make it sound better? You know what I mean? Like how can I make it sound how can I make it short and make it sound attractive or whatever you want to use? I definitely didn't feel the competition amongst the men. I'll say that. Not because we weren't competing against each other, but we had already built such a rapport.
Mhm.
We had already kind of chopped, and it wasn't like we were best friends or anything like that, but we had chopped it up in pre-production and we had gotten to know each other a little bit. And even when people were doing like their walks on stage, like they did that intro walk that everybody does in slow mo, everybody's doing that like one at a time. So you over here gassing each other up, giving it like, yeah, get it, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it almost felt like a team effort. So when we got there, it was almost us versus her kind of thing. Does that make sense? Like we
Mhm.
were there for each other, and I wasn't looking at them like, oh, let me make sure I answer better than him, or let me make sure I answer better than him. It was very much oh man, that's kind of where he is on that journey, and that's authentic to him. The only other person, yeah, in that first volley, Shedrick was the other person that was like, man, me and him we think very similarly, and
Mhm.
Dan, his answers are going to be similar to my answers, and especially with that last answer, I was just like, "Damn, how am I gonna?" Dang, that's when the competition. I felt the competition. You know what I'm saying? That's when I felt like,
Yeah.
oh, I have to really, like, what? How am I gonna make this sound as good as what that was? So only when it came to like the last two did I feel that, but it wasn't. Again, I didn't feel like it was a competition amongst us. It was very much, what I'm saying? May the best man win, and we're like rooting for each other. At least I was. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever her style of
Mhm.
man was, I was really hoping that person would come out because that's one thing I definitely appreciated about this show is that there was a wide range of people. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
like we all probably wouldn't kick it if it wasn't for this show. You know what I'm saying? Like you wouldn't look at us and be like, "Oh, that's a group of homeboys. They definitely hang out together." And I feel like that's been the case in other episodes where like there's kind of this one image and all the guys kind of fit into that image. But yeah, I think there was definitely no bravado. There was no competition in my mind when I was answering the questions. It was very much just kind of focused on Like, who is this? Who is this person that I'm talking to? I wasn't
Mhm.
thinking about the guys at all.
What is it like to be on, because it is different, like you said, when you just practice or when you just being natural, whatever, you have a conversation, and then when the lights come on, when the camera goes on, you see that red button, you know it's being recorded, you know the weight of, you know what I'm saying, of this moment, things change. So I can understand Cat's responses being a little different than what it was before the camera came on. But for, like I said, for someone like yourself who talks about this on a regular basis, like this is your passion, this is your life's work when it comes to discovering, the ins and outs of relationships and how to fortify relationships, so on and so forth. So with that being your background, like, was there anything in particular that you were kind of already preparing to say, or kind of like there was some foreshadowing, like, yo, this is what I want to get across? What was the preparation like?
That's been the most frustrating thing about this entire experience is I didn't
Mm.
even get to I had bro, I had questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had scenarios,
Yeah.
I had questions, I had things that I really wanted to be able to ask her. I just never got around to it. You know what I'm saying? It
Mm.
was one of the questions that I wish I would have asked her. And I don't think it would have so much changed the dynamic between her and I, but I think it would have made for a great moment if I wanted to. Like if I were looking for a cloudy viral moment, I think I would have tried to do it in the best way possible. And the question that I wanted to ask her was how she engages in conflict. And I would have started off by saying something like, yo, my favorite movie about love is Love Jones. I love Love Jones. I think that is one of the best love stories. Definitely in my opinion, the best black love story that I know that I've seen.
Mhm,
But
mhm.
it's up there with just some of the best love stories ever. With that, what was that movie with Macaulay Culkin when he died from the bee sting? Was that Pretty Woman or something like Pretty Woman? It's
I
not.
don't
Anyway,
I only know Home Alone for Macaulay Culkin. I
oh,
don't really.
super, super old movie,
Yeah.
like, it was back in that day. But, so I was gonna ask her so Love Jones is my favorite movie, and in the movie, at one point, they were having a fight, and they weren't talking to each other for whatever reason. So, homeboy asked her to get dressed, and they went out dancing. And even though they were still mad at each other, she went with him. They went dancing. You can kinda tell, like, they were, like, fighting on the dance floor, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were kinda not into each other, but after
Mhm.
that, that kinda let the guards down a little bit so that they could have the discussion that they needed to have afterwards. And I would have asked her, you know what I mean, like, how do you how in what situation would you try to break the ice to be able to have a difficult conversation if we were at odds with each other or something like that? So, when it comes to the preparation, all the conversations that I've been having with people, just walking, meditating, journaling that I do every day, questions just kept on coming up saying, like, what do you want to know about this person beyond the physical, beyond whatever's going to be there, whatever's presented to you in a way that it seems original, in a way that they may not have had that question asked to them before. So those were all the things that I was focused on before the show. You know what I mean? Like, that was my prep, but just never got around to it. Never got around to asking the questions that would have made me decide whether I wanted to pop or not. But She said two things that as soon as I heard them, I was like, "Oh, that's I'm with it." You know what I'm saying? Like, the two things that I heard her saying was like she loves outdoors, whether it was like hiking, camping, all of those things. She loved outdoors, and then she's danced salsa bachata. So I was like, "Oh." At
I
that
knew it. As soon as I heard that, I was like, "Oh, it's over. Oh, but got this."
point,
I knew it. I knew. I was like, "Oh,
I was like,
this
"That's it.
that's what he does.
That's it. That's
That's
it."
what he does."
Like, boom, and she said it so casually as well. I was like, "Oh, that's it." And what's so
See,
funny.
but the thing, I gotta cut you off on this though.
Talk to me.
Why didn't you mention that that was your thing? Like, you alluded to it in the question about dancing, so it let her know that you knew what type of time she was on. But I was thinking, why didn't he mention that this is what I do? I used to live in Mexico. Like, why didn't you drop that?
Because if to me, it felt like being flashy, right? If pulling out your Lamborghini key and be like, "Yo, this is my lifestyle. This is how I live." I wanted to see if she would match with me with the absolute basic. You know what I'm saying? With just
Mm,
the answers, with just the way that I dressed and the way that I kinda conveyed the information to her, connected with her.
yeah.
And my Spanish speaking, even at the end when she was like, Do you speak Spanish? I was like, no. Like that. Plus, it's also like all of that. I just wanted that to be the extras. I wanted that to be
Mm.
kind of the, oh, you thought you're getting, a base model, but actually you got some premium options in this thing. So
Mm.
that's why I didn't share that, honestly and truthfully. I tried to keep my face straight too, because part of me wanted to be like, oh, I wanted to like, oh,
Ooh,
that's me
wee.
right there. But I definitely didn't want that to influence the connection. I wanted it to be whatever it is right here and now. And then if you were to
Mm.
match with me, oh, here's surprise. You know what I mean? I wanted that to kind of be like a surprise, like the cherry on the top, and not the thing that
Oh
made
yeah,
her attracted to me.
for sure.
Yeah, man.
Now I had interrupted a whole thought. I don't know if you still remember.
Oh man, not at all. You asked what my prep was like, right? Like what was I
Yeah,
prepared?
your preparation for sure. Yeah.
So it's funny because I really I really took time to think about my life if I made a match. So some of the things that I did was like I recorded a
Mm.
video of my commute from my house to my job. Yo, this is where I live. This is how I'm living right now. This is where, I work, blah, 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 just to kind of let her in. Um, and then kind of like showed what my commute was afterwards. And then when I actually landed in Phoenix, because they tape in Phoenix, the day
Mhm.
before or the morning of, I even recorded like a 10-minute video for her. I was like, "Yo, I don't even know if I'm gonna match." In the video, I set it up by the bed, sat down on the floor. "Yo, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to send this to anybody, but I just wanted you to know, whoever you are, if we do end up matching, these are the things
Oh,
I'm thinking
you
about
gotta
right
you
now."
gotta release the vlog. You gotta release the vlog, bro. Come on, man.
When they
This
release
is what we
UFO
need.
tapes, these are the UFO tapes, man. When they release UFO tapes, and we getting these.
Nah, see,
For
you
real?
be holding back. I see that's your style. You like to hold back. You like to
Man,
be
I
you
sit
like to
on the
be
content,
modest.
right? That's my problem,
Yeah.
man. I'm not gonna do that in 2025. Maybe I will for it. I probably
All
will.
right.
But yeah, and even, you know what I mean, like, the prep was very much being intentional about, hey, that would have been another gift, right? That would have been like I would have been able to package it up and say, "Hey, this is a little bit of me getting to know me wanting you to get to know me, whoever you are." You know what I'm saying? So I thought that that would have been a good idea, just something original, something to show that I'm not just here to play around. I'm here to actually create a good foundation to be able to move
Mm.
forward in a way that could, potentially be lasting. Yeah, so I think that's what the prep was. I actually looked at a couple of my notes from my previous episodes, specifically intimate communion. I just really wanted to
Mhm.
make sure that I presented myself in a way that was authentic, and yeah, some of the thoughts that I had about just like relationships, or like how relationships get started and things like that. That was mostly part of the prep. But talked to some of my female friends, talked to some of my male friends, and I didn't tell anybody I was going to the show. I probably told maybe 3 people, maybe, but it was very much, if I'm gonna do this well, let me get talk to my baby cousin, talk to one of my best friends, and I was like, let me just really make sure I get my ideas honed in, um, and that was it.
That's that's fire, bro. That I was very similar on that when I was prepping for the
Can
TED
imagine.
Talk. Like
Can
I
imagine.
told you and Tev, I
You
probably
had
told like
rehearsals, bro.
three other friends. You say it again?
You had rehearsals. You were really going through it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That was this whole 6 month process. You know what I'm saying? But it was one of those things where I only told a few people, just a few family members, and maybe 4 or 5 friends, and that was it because I didn't want all the voices to go, oh bro, that's good, all that hype and all that. I was like, I just wanted to focus, put all my energy and effort into the moment, and then after the moment, then we can talk about all the
Right.
things. But like
Right.
getting there and getting to that stage is like that's very important. And then when you share things with too many people, it takes a life of its own that you didn't necessarily intend to create for it.
Good point.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
all of that. So I definitely
Hmm.
identify with you on that for sure.
I didn't even
Keeping that
think
close to
about
the
that.
vest.
I didn't even think about that aspect of it, but you're absolutely right. Like,
Mm,
then the
hmm.
expectations, and then even if it's not
Yep.
pressure, like you say, it just creates its own thing, and then people are
Yeah.
like, trying to get updates and like, yo, how'd it go? What's going on? Da, da, da. Are you there
Yeah.
yet? Yeah, all that.
And then it's like unsolicited advice or like, "Yo, I don't need that right now."
Good point.
Like, that's the
Like
like, you putting this on the I already got this on the pedestal, now you putting it on the pedestal, and now I got you know what I'm saying?
at a
It's
pedestal
too
on
much.
top of a pedestal, it's that doesn't work well. That doesn't. So
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yes.
I didn't
It's
think
tough.
that there would be like that outside influence, but I definitely felt there would be a distraction, you know what I'm saying? Or me getting too excited about it and me trying to make it something more than what I was trying to make it. I didn't want to go for any viral moment. I didn't want to go for any kind of clout. Honestly, I don't even think I talked to Arlette. I really don't even think so. I don't even think I talked to the host.
Mhm.
I talked to the camera people and just said, "Yo, thank you for doing whatever you're doing. Thank you for being interested in this. Thank you for blah blah blah." Talk to the producer, "Yo, thank you for taking the time, finding a niche." Da 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 da. But when it came to Arlette, maybe I just said what's up, but I was just keeping it very much. Yo, I'm not trying to do too much. Hmm.
Yeah. Well, a few things, bro. I don't know if you're hiding the world from your content, you know what I'm saying? Or if or if the how do I what's the reverse
Oh,
statement
I
of your content is hiding from the world? I don't know what's happening, but all I'm trying to say is we
know.
need that content. Oh, we need that vlog, bro. Just put it on Insta.
Okay.
Put it on. You got TikTok. I don't know if you got TikTok, but
Nah,
put on
I
IG.
put it on TikTok though.
All right, bro.
I
Like
should. I should.
we need that. We
I'm gonna
need
get
that, bro.
TikTok.
We
Top
need
of the
that
year. Top
content
of the year. I'm gonna get it.
because we want to know, we want to learn, and I say that also because a lot of the people that were watching, and I'm going to get to some of the comments and whatnot, but people could tell that you were very thoughtful and you were intentional about what you said, and that this wasn't just like I'm just trying to find a bitch to crack. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm,
nah, I really want a relationship. Like,
for
this is
sure.
what I really want. I've thought about this.
Hey,
You know what
that's
I'm
fine.
saying? Like, and so
I'm glad.
even you sharing and this is something that I suffer from too. Even you sharing like the most basic of thoughts or processes, because you're so focused and you're so locked in on what you do, and it's so common, it doesn't seem special to you. But then when you share with somebody else, like, yo, that's fire. Like I never even thought about that thing in that way.
Mm.
And so I'll say that to say, I hope and I encourage you to release that content. If you feel comfortable.
Nah,
If it's
definitely.
too personal and it's like, look, I understand that too. But
I'm
if you
going.
need a nudge, you know what
I'm
I'm
going.
saying?
Thank you.
Go
That was
ahead.
the nudge I needed for real, for real. That was the nudge I needed because
For sure.
I was thinking it felt a little in vain. You know what I mean? Like it felt like I'm putting
Mm,
myself like look at me type stuff, and I'm never the one to do that. I definitely didn't want to
yeah.
put it out if it wasn't going to my match first. I wasn't just going to
Hmm.
put it out because I was like, oh well, if it's not going to her, then what's the point of doing it? But like you
Straight up.
said, being able to just literally just being vulnerable. If I already put myself out there, and if I've already recorded the content, why not? Like it's just more content.
Because and that's the coldest part. Like the people that are most genuine keep shit tucked. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the podcasts and relationship advice or content is bullshit
Yeah, you're
and
right.
it's divisive. You know what
Mm,
I'm saying? And it's just like it's all that antagonistic stuff. So someone like yourself, you were a breath of fresh air for a lot of people that tune into that show and don't expect that to happen. And they're
thank
like, "Oh wow, this was mature. Like he was thoughtful, he was dope, all that type of stuff." So people actually want that because you are the antithesis of the norm, and the norm is toxic. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
clout chasey or
Yeah, yeah.
antagonistic or yeah, you're right about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
straight up. So I gotta ask, how did you get on the show? Like, what? How did you find out? Were you recruited? Were you walking the streets of Florida and they were just like, "Oh, let me get this."
Hey, young man.
This
Nah,
young man looks like a great candidate. You know what I'm saying? How did it happen?
so I've been watching the show. I don't even know how long I've been watching the show. I've been watching the show since before I came back to the States. So I was still watching it when
Hmm.
I was in Mexico, and I really liked the
Hmm.
show. And this show just was so much in line with all of the other things that I was interested in watching. You know what I'm saying? I've spent a little bit of time watching Love is Blind. I watched maybe like 2 seasons of Married at First Sight, and I was always interested in kind of hearing those stories, not so much like what the polished version of the show, but just hearing the people talk to each other. And one of my favorite things about the Pop the Balloon was the catch ups when they talked to the couple after the fact, whether they didn't go
Mm.
on a date or whether they did. That to me was my favorite part because you really got to see how they interacted. Well, first, how they gave each other grace because both people were nervous and everything was going on, whatever, whatever. But how did they how do they move past? And honestly, I wanted to be one of those successful couples. I wanted to be one of those people that people could breathe life in and be like, oh man, this is such a genuine connection, and these people are blah blah blah. Because there's one of my favorite couples. I wish I remember their names right now. He's not. I think he's Nigerian. He's Nigerian. She's American, and just so casual. The way that he dressed when he was on the show, he wasn't trying to impress anybody. He wasn't trying to do too much. And even his answers, you could tell that he wasn't trying to give the right answer. He was just trying to tell her how he felt. And they're still rocking. And so I kept on looking at the show. I'm like, yo, this is beautiful. Yo, this is really dope. And for whatever reason, one day I just applied. At the end of each show, they say, hey, if you're interested in joining or being on the show, hit that link in the show notes and submit your application. So I was just like, I don't know. It may have been like 2 o'clock in the morning one night. And I was just like, let me just do this. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't planning on doing it. It was in my mind for maybe half a day. And then just at that night, I was like, man, screw it. Let me just put it in. Because even if they tell me I'm accepted, I still have a choice of saying, nah, I was just playing around. I'm not really looking to do that. So I put in the application. And the application asked a lot of really good questions. And I know a lot of people in this show were mad that people were not matching with people that had children. And that was one of the questions, at least in my questionnaire. I imagine all of the questionnaires are similar. But in my questionnaire, it said, would you date somebody with kids? And I saw that and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's perfect. You know what I'm saying? People are they're going to be able to either organize based on people that have kids, and then people that are cool with dating people with kids, or they'll organize by age, or they'll organize by geographic location, like whatever it is. So I just tried to make myself as attractive as possible. But also, like, I kept thinking, like, would I date a woman with kids? Because I've done that before. And although it was a very small child, I was just like, well, I've done it before and it wasn't terrible. It did end, but it wasn't all that bad. And there's another thing about there's such a perception of almost being a cuck, right? If you're a stepdad.
Mm.
There's such a stigma with being a stepdad when you're supposed to be a high value man and blah 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 and that third. And I get it. I mean, like, don't nobody want to. Ideally, they don't want to raise nobody else's kids, especially no man want to raise another man's
Mhm.
like child. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But at the end of the day, there are plenty of people that are still in this world that need a male figure in their lives. And if the person that you're with has a child and you can really kind of create a connection with that person, at least try. To me, it's like at least try. If it doesn't work out, if she acts
Mhm.
up, or the child is taking too much from her and she doesn't have enough to pour into the relationship, okay, cool. But I'm never beyond trying. And no matter what they look like, no matter what their, socio economic situation is, like if we have something in common and we have something in common that's rare amongst people, like let's try it. Almost kind of no matter what you look like. So there's an application process. You fill out the application, and I figured they'd probably hit me up in a couple of months because this show is going crazy. You know what I mean? Like there's mad people on this show. They've probably dealt with like 400 people by now. And so I'm like,
Mm.
I'm sure there's a long list. And literally, I think they hit me up like a week later. And it was a young lady.
Did you get flued out?
Negative.
Ah.
Negative. But I did get sponsored. I did get sponsored. Shouts out to the homies, y'all know
Okay.
them, and they were
That's
really
what's up.
encouraging. Yeah, they were really encouraging on some birthday stuff. Because actually they called me on my birthday, and they were like, "Yo,
Mm.
this is such and such from the show." I was like, "Wait, what?" I put her on speaker because I was talking to my brother, and yeah, she was like, "Yeah, we really like your application, and we'd love to be able to have you on the show." And I was like, "Cool." So again, my birthday's the end of November. I was like, "All right, cool." I'm thinking January, February, March. Yeah, let's figure out a good time to do this. And they were like, "Okay." I was like, "So when's the show?" And she was like, "In 2 weeks." In 2 weeks. I was like, "In 2 weeks?" I was like, "Can I be on the next show? Can I skip this one and go on the next show?" I'm like, "2 weeks, that's pretty quick." And then she was like, "Oh, well, this is gonna be a really good time for you to do this, and I'm not saying that the show is going away, but we may not have another da 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 da." I just think that this was She was just saying that this would have been the most ideal situation. And now that I see it, they probably had, some people with kids, some people with no kids, probably the age range. You know what I mean? Like this was going to be kind of like the grown.
Yeah.
If I could find a if I could find a good ticket, I'll go. And then the homies pulled up. The homies came through, and they were like, "Nah, man, you going for sure." And I was like, "What?" They were like, "Nah, go, take advantage of it." So I accepted the invitation, and that was it. That was really it. Like they asked to see my ID a little later, but there was really no like harsh process. I didn't even get to
Mm.
I didn't talk to BM. I only talked to that one person. Shouts out to you, Deborah. And yeah, that was it. They gave me the address and I showed up. First of all, Phoenix is a vibe, yo. I loved Phoenix.
Mm.
I loved Phoenix, man. The weather, the people, everything about Phoenix was super fire. So yeah, that's how the application process went. I don't want to get too far because I don't want to be like Kanye and like just start rambling. Like as soon as you start with this
You
one
good. You
with this
good.
one question. But yeah, that's what the process is. Super simple. And if they want you, yeah, they give you a call and you got to figure the rest out. Like they're not no
For sure.
no money is coming out of their pockets for anybody to be there. I think. Isn't that wild?
They just giving you the opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
it. That's it.
so I hate to say this, but I don't remember the young lady's name that you matched with. What
Uh,
was her name?
Nita. Nita.
Nita.
Nita.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nita. Okay. So, see, look at you talking in Spanish. So, when you first seen Nita, what was your thoughts, bro?
First reaction was like,
Yeah.
she got short hair. Honestly, like, short hair. Because for me, short hair was just like, ah, you know. But that's just like you're asking me first reaction. My first reaction was like,
Straight
she
up.
got short. Just all right, cool. She got short hair. So it wasn't like
Mhm.
it wasn't an automatic pop, but it wasn't an automatic. Oh my god, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Um, she wasn't. If I were to paint my perfect picture, and they actually asked that as well in the show. They asked like, "What is your ideal person in the application? What does your ideal
Yeah.
person look like?" And so I told them, you know, what I'm saying like tall, dark, preferably a child of an immigrant parent because I think that's a connection that I really enjoy. Somebody that
Mhm.
knows, somebody that can, somebody that knows American culture, but also can see American culture from another cultural background. Like, who's Marcus Garvey? I just put that out. I was like, who's Marcus Garvey? Just who's that? You know what I'm saying? I could have just gone on a crazy diatribe with so many different things. But I was like, I am a part of Black culture, but in my mind, more so because I studied it. You know what I'm saying? More so because I
Mhm.
actively participated in the same way I studied love. Because I think you can't represent or be good at anything unless you study it. I learned how to
Mhm.
play spades. How many I don't think I've ever met another African that knows how to play spades. And if they do, they're dirt. You know what I'm saying? Like these are all things
Mhm.
that are like central. I danced Chicago step, like Chicago two step. You know what I'm saying? Like these are all things to me that are like the essence of Black culture. And
Mhm.
I intentionally made an effort to get good at these different things. So I think, yeah, let's forget that. First impressions was she came out, had no idea she was Afro Latina. I thought she was just a black. I thought she was black.
Hey, I couldn't tell either.
Couldn't
I
tell
mean, she had the high cheekbones and but that didn't necessarily give it away. You know what
at
I'm
all
saying? But
to me at all. So I was like, okay, yeah, of course she's attractive. I didn't look at her physique at all. That's how you could tell I was in my head a lot. Just
oh, you was in the zone.
yeah, that's what it was.
She had on leather pants and seen them thighs.
Didn't notice it until she walked past me. Then I
You
was
seen the hips,
like, oh,
so you knew what was behind.
but again, the
You seen it.
bro, I'm telling you, the physical had no impact on me that first until I answered her first question. When
You was
she went
locked
over to
in, bro.
homeboy and he popped and all that, like that whole first
Mm,
little thing, I had no reaction to her physical appearance. None.
mm,
It was just I heard hike. She likes to hike. I think I heard camping. I'm not sure now. Um, and then she said she liked to dance. Those are all things. She like a gentleman, blah blah blah. I was like, okay, yeah, I definitely vibe with those. And then I think after I heard dance, that's when I started paying attention to like what she looks like. Then I was like, okay, is she a dancer? And then I looked at her body and I was like, oh yeah, she's definitely a dancer. She looks like proper fit. But bro, when she walked past me, man, I was just like, oh man. Oh, let me tell you, bro, I was so mad on my way to the studio. I was so mad.
So what happened?
One thing I pride myself on is like hygiene, of course, is very important to me. But one thing I really pride myself on, and I really try to make myself one way I like to express who I am is through smell. I love fragrances. I've loved fragrances forever.
Mm,
And
left the sense.
I love scents, bro. Like if I could just show you a glimpse, let me just show you a glimpse of this, bro. Like that's just a little bit.
Oh my god.
That's just a little bit, man. Like
The collection.
I love fragrances.
You have a library
I have a
of
library of
colognes.
collections, bro. Seriously.
Yeah.
Do you know I forgot to put it on when I left, man? When I hopped in that Uber
Mm,
and I got like 5 minutes away, I was just like, "Damn." I had just taken a shower, so I knew I
sick.
was good. But
Yeah.
man, I was so tight that I didn't wear that I didn't wear what I wanted to wear.
Sick. I already know you was
Bro, I
sick,
was
bro.
sick, man. I was just like, "Damn," because I really wanted to give her that opportunity to, like, walk past me and be like, "Oh my god, you smell da da da," you know? So that had me
Mhm,
super tight.
mhm,
And so I didn't really get to do any of that. I didn't get to, like, express myself in a way that I would've wanted to for a first
mhm.
impression. And so, again, seeing her, I was like, "Okay, she's cool." Didn't know she was Afro Latina until I think it was until I asked my question maybe, or
Mhm.
until somebody said something. She was like, "Well, I'm"
Nah, she didn't say it
she didn't say
she
it till
didn't
the
say it
very
till, like, the end.
Okay,
Yeah. She didn't say it till, like, the very end.
gotcha. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what the impression was. I thought she was attractive, but it wasn't, like, jumping for joy. It was just like, "Oh, okay, cool, cool." But I definitely listened
Mhm,
to her.
mhm.
I listened to her way more than I looked at her, if that makes sense.
What was the moment? Was it when she mentioned dancing, or what was the moment when you knew, like, "Oh, yeah, we got action"?
Dancing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, dancing. When she said that, that excited me a lot. Cause the hiking, the
Mhm.
outdoors, that was cool. I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, maybe she likes to glamp. Maybe she likes to," you know what I'm saying? Like, do some fancy stuff in the woods or something like that. She don't really like to just throw a hammock up and get and camp or something like that, but when she
Yeah.
said she dances, for me, that was it because, again, Love Jones being one of my favorite movies, I could already see that working its way into our relationship, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
I could
mhm.
see us practicing with each other, I could see us sending videos to each other. Yeah, there were just so many things that I was really excited about when it came to when it comes um, to dance in a partnership. And it's not like I was teaching her. She already has her own history with it. So we would have been able to
Mhm,
come at it
mhm.
and find out different styles and find the different ways. So from there, it was like, oh, okay, cool. Like I'm into this. And then homeboy that was right next to me, he and I kept talking Greg in the red. He was like, "Dude, she's cold, man." I was like, "Bro, she's cold-blooded, man. She's for real." And her questions were
Mhm,
eloquent, you know what I mean? The way she spoke, of course, her diction
mhm,
was delightful. But for me, I think it was really listening to her and then just in my mind, just thinking about how dope it would be to be able to dance together. You know what I'm saying? How dope it would be 'cause I
mhm.
went to dance with her that night. I was like, "Yo, I would love to just go
Yeah.
dancing right now because we could have all these conversations, we could sit down, we could talk, blah, 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 but if you really wanna get to know each other, let's just dance," you know? So
Mhm.
that's what really caught me, for real. That's what
Yeah.
really caught me. I was just like, "Oh, I'm ready. I'm fighting for this one."
Bro, when it came down to the last 2, you and I forgot dude's name,
Yeah, Shedrick.
but yeah, when it came down to y'all 2, did you know it was a wrap, or was you nervous?
I didn't know at all, bro. I didn't know
Mm.
even after when she said when I said effort, even when I said that and she was like, "Yeah, love is in action and blah blah blah." Even at that point, I still didn't feel like, "Oh, I got this." You know what I'm saying? Like it was very much
I thought it was a wrap, but when you said it, I was like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, it's over."
I swear to goodness, I did not think that at all. I was just like, well, because I didn't even want to I didn't even want to look at her because I didn't even want to give her any kind of, well, you stared at me weird, so I had to pop you. You know what I'm saying? Like I just wanted to be.
Hey, she was doing that. She was like,
She
"The
was
energy, the eye contact, I just wasn't feeling it." And I was like, "Damn, what the hell she got going on, bro? She a witch?"
her radar, bro. Her radar. I think that's
Radar is
what,
a serious. Now her radar served her right though. You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. Oh,
So
man, righteous. I appreciate that. And he's a stand up dude too, man. He and I ended up like kicking it
yeah.
after or kicking it the next day. He's a great, amazing guy, man. Like we had a
Mm,
lot in common. We chopped it up properly. It was dope. So it was to me, it was very much she would have won either way. And I would have truly been
mhm,
happy for them. You get what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't have been tight
mhm.
at all. I wouldn't be like, yo, yes. You know what I'm saying? Like between us, yeah, I would have been like, dope. Yo, get it. But
Mhm.
I definitely was hoping it would have been me. But when she
Right.
started walking over, I'm so grateful that the cameraman when she started walking over to him and then she started talking to him as to why you didn't pop, you don't see me. Like she's right in front of me, between me and the camera.
Yeah.
But you see the homeboy in the red looking at me like, "Hey, it's about to be you, bro." And I'm over here trying to keep it cool, and I'm about to just like I'm geeked though, man. Like honestly, I'm
Yeah,
geeked.
I already
I'm
know
like,
you
"Hey, yo,
was.
this is." She has no idea about my connection with Latin culture. She has no idea that I could dance. She has
Mm-mm.
no idea that I could speak Spanish. So, like, if she likes me now, oh, we're about to be in this. Like, we about to be good, man. You know what I mean? Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
so for me, that was truly that moment when she walked over, when she walked past me to go pop his balloon. I was just like, oh shit, that's happening. But what's crazy is like my heart wasn't like beating crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I was sweating
Mhm,
that crazy.
mhm.
It was just like, "Oh, alright, like, we about to do this." And then he started talking to me, then that started getting me gassed up. I'm just like, "Oh, man, if you relax, I was
Yeah,
cool, man. Don't make me look crazy." But luckily, yeah, like I said, luckily that was all blocked out. So shouts out to you. I think that was Captain. Shouts out to you, Captain, for, making sure that she was perfectly in line, with between me and the camera. Yeah, man.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah, man.
Well, bro, I wanna get into some of these comments, man,
Oh,
because this
Lord.
is like the next best part of seeing this, seeing my friend on YouTube,
Oh, Lord.
1.4 million views in like
Oh,
a day or
Lord.
something like that. I'm like, yo, this is crazy.
They went up.
So it went crazy. It went crazy. And I think it also what helped is during the holidays, it's like everybody is collectively not doing much. And so why not tune in to, you know what I'm
Midday,
saying? And
it
it's
was
just like
perfect, bro. So many of the
perfect,
comments were just like, "Oh,
perfect.
I'm just sitting here chilling." Oh, and you dropped?
Yeah.
Perfect. It was.
Straight up,
It really
straight up.
was. It was perfect. So,
Yeah, yeah.
happy
So
about
let me get into some of my favorite comments. I didn't spend too much time because
that.
it's way too many to
That
go
is a
through.
crazy amount of comments, man.
But Christine
This man about to read out
Maposa
names too? Imma have to
4911.
you wild
If it was governments, I'll put their
You
governments
about
out
to
there
put
too.
that out too? I
So
believe you, dog.
I would. She said, and I'm gonna try to do that voice
Oh,
based upon the picture. The first match was so obvious, and they both sound so mature. Their energy and connection is unmatched.
why this nigga neck broke?
Doctor What thinks he is the price. Okay, I don't. People's grammar ain't too. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm,
But
mhm.
basically, she said it was obvious. Y'all both sounded mature. The energy and connection was unmatched. So that was dope. And then somebody was like, "Who is this?" Char Rita Deloach. She said, "The first lady is T. Very beautiful and intelligent. She knows what she wants. Yes."
Ah,
And then somebody is like, "She's so dope." And then
she got a lot of
some
money.
hating ass nigga like, and then some hating ass nigga, nah, she deceptive.
Oh,
Spoke about energy, but when she asked about the dancing, her energy went left and also looking cringe when walking away. Clearly lying about the dancing and untrustworthy. Now,
what?
according to, and that was Elton Locklear 7659.
Alright, Elton.
He said she was deceptive. Her talking about because
Deceptive, bro.
when she started talking about the dancing, her eyes was going away. And now I interpreted it as because it was such an on the spot,
Mhm.
nuanced question.
Same, same.
She had to think about it because it's not like you readily have an answer for that. Is that how you perceive it?
I 100% perceived it that way as well. I didn't think
Yeah,
that she wouldn't be prepared for a question like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how could
not at all. She was caught off guard.
I think so. I think that's exactly what it was. I think she was caught off guard and she was like, especially if you think that's gonna be like a make or break kind of question, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
think yeah, but she answered it in a way that I was like, okay, because and the reason why I asked that question was because I've had conversations with homeboys before. I'm talking about like
Hmm.
we've sat down in a restaurant for like 4 or 5 hours talking about this. literally, because
Mhm.
there's so much sensuality in Latin dance. And I saw some of the comments that were like, "Oh, he's controlling. That question was a red flag. I liked him until I saw that question." But that question is really about like how do you show your partner that you're thinking about them? You know what I mean? In situations where you don't have to, essentially. Because when you dance with somebody else, it's you and that person. You're free to do whatever you want. No one's ever going to tell you, "Yo, I don't want you dancing this way." But I think it was very and I think she answered it great. I think it was a good question because it showed that I was interested in dance, and it also for anybody else out there that has ever had any of these conversations, I've never asked a woman that. I've never heard from a woman. So I wanted to hear from her in that instance, and for whatever reason, that felt more important than the questions that I had previously. You know what I mean? The questions that I had ready to go. I wanted to know what
Yeah.
her opinion of was that, and I didn't see her energy change. I just felt her. She was like, "Oh well, yeah, we could dance together at the house, or blah blah blah. I can show you what's up." And I was like, "Haha, show me
Mhm.
what's up."
Yeah, yeah. And so C dash G9B responded to hating ass Elton Locklear 7659 and was saying Oba was wise to ask that question. Very insightful. And I think it was the question about salute to that. It was a question, I think it was like I feel like they're talking about the follow-up, which was like, how do you guard from being too intimate when
Right,
dancing with somebody
right.
else and you got, you know what I'm saying?
How
Yeah.
do you show your partner that that you're thinking of them?
Right, right, right. Yeah. So very, very wise, very insightful. And then Miss underscore A dash underscore Renee. Yes, I love her vibe. I think she made the right choice. I hope they're still going strong. All right. And then let's see. It's just an avatar. It says Soul SA93 says, we got a match.
We
I
got
love our first couple of that match. And then the Queen 3834, me too. And then Sa- Seisha Monet, this is the best episode so far.
a
And then John Henderson 2543, they are destined. Mm,
That's it is written, my man.
it is written.
It is written.
And then Megan Minnow dot 234, he is calm and collected. I love that.
Hey man. Megan.
And then Kimala 7617, they had similar bone structure, and many couples are physically attracted to the male or female version of themselves.
What?
I
Oh, really?
did you notice her bone structure and
Oh,
was like,
I was like, she could be me. Damn, she fine. She could be me. I got to match with her.
yo, that was one of the weirdest of all the comments that
That's
I
great.
went through in like 20 minutes. I was like, what the they
That's
had
great.
similar bone structure.
Bone
That's
structure.
kind of
I'll take it because she's fine. But she definitely got a lot of love, man. And she was delightful.
yeah,
She really was, yo. Like the same
absolutely.
afterwards. Yo. We were really into it until
Yeah.
we weren't. So it was good. It was very much. I'm glad we.
Until we weren't. Now look.
I
I
know.
was I was trying to I was trying to stay away from that because I know everybody that's watching is like, bro, why don't you ask about what had happened after y'all left the show?
I
I
know.
know that there is other things at play.
Right.
So is
Right.
that something that you want
So
to get into?
so I
Or
definitely
we
want
want to
to.
save that?
Yeah, I don't wanna save it like, "Oh, y'all gonna have to tune into my Patreon or something like that." I just wanna respect the platform.
Nigga, start the Patreon. Let's go. What are we doing, bro? Monetize. No, I'm playing. I'm
See,
playing.
and that's for
I'm,
some reason,
I'm
sometimes
playing.
I feel like that
I'm
could
not.
get in my
I'm
way
being
because
facetious.
it's like you're right, right? Honestly, I'm sure somebody would wanna hear that, and somebody might throw a couple bucks to hear that, right? But to me,
Absolutely.
it is so much more important to honor the show, to honor the however the show runs and operates. So if
Yeah.
I were to just talk about everything that happened afterwards and my perspective only, if we were to have if they wanted to have like a catch up episode or where are they now episode, then it wouldn't have boded well. You know what I'm saying? Like everything would have already been out
Mm,
there, and then she wouldn't have been able to tell her side of the story. So maybe she would have felt a little bit more negative and then came on there and just tried to rip me and all these different things.
mhm.
But I will tell you one thing, dog. And this is the exclusive. You getting this first. You getting this first, yo. Nobody else knows this
Bro.
information. So I get a call the next day, right?
It's
And
about to get good. Let me get this out the way.
I get a call the next day, and she was just like, there was something that kind of bothered me about our date last night. And I was like, yo, please, like anything, if it bothered you, if it's something that that you misinterpreted, if it's something that I could, give you some clarity on, or if it's something I need to apologize about, because of you felt disrespected or whatever, like I'm happy to do it. She was like, your breath stink. Oh, oh, bro,
Oh,
me,
oh,
bro, me.
oh,
Do you have any idea? I'm telling you, I showered probably 2 minutes before, 5 minutes before homeboy came. I finished brushing my teeth before I got into that Uber. So I know it
oh.
wasn't like I ate something crazy, but let me tell you what it was, dog. Hey, and this is for everybody out there. You see what this
Uh-oh.
is right here? You see what that? Oh, well, let me see.
I
Yeah,
can't. It's
that that right there is called
very
neurogum.
gross.
So what neurogum has is especially formulated with natural caffeine, theanine, and B vitamins to sustain the mental endurance necessary to maintain your focus. Something that I
Mm,
took right before we started filming. And let me tell
yeah.
you, theanine and all that stuff, they put on the outside and then the gum on the inside. So this is what
Mm.
happened on the show. Literally, I put the gum in my mouth. And I'm talking about before I even chewed it, Arlette was like, "Is that gum?" And I was like, "Nah." She was like, "We ask that you don't chew gum," which should be obvious, right? We ask that you don't chew gum. And bro, I'm telling you, what sucks even more is I had 3 peppermints in my pocket, man. I had 3 peppermints in
Mm.
my pocket, but I never took any of them out. God dang it, man.
Damn,
God,
bro.
the whole night, I didn't take
Oh,
not one of them out, man. And I should have done it right then and there. Would have been good. Wouldn't have had that complaint at all. But I
damn.
didn't, man. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? So that's one of
Oh,
those things where I'll never
oh,
ever forget this experience, yo. I'll never forget
damn.
that experience.
Oh,
But let me tell you, that was such a but she said, I don't know if she did, but she said, but you were smelling so good that I knew that it just had to have been like an off day. I'm like, no, no, no. This wasn't an off day. This has never happened. This isn't
yeah,
oh, you know what I mean? Like you weren't feeling it from the arc. No, 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 no. This has
yeah.
never happened, man. Like literally 3 peppermints in my pocket, gum
Mm,
right on deck. Like I was smells, man. Like the olfactory sensation is so important to me that I
yeah.
prepared as much as I could, and I had it all with me, but the bullets weren't in the they weren't in the what is it? They weren't in the clip.
In the chamber?
They weren't
Yeah.
in the yeah, they were in the chamber. The bullets weren't in the chamber, man.
Oh,
They were sitting in my pocket. That alone, like anything else that she had to complain about, I'm like, cool. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. But that particular one right there was so
mm,
much not me, but was representative of me to her, especially in that first impression, that it was just like, oh, what can you say to that? And she was like how she was like, I don't even know how I could have told you that night, right? And part of me is like, yeah, I get it. Like you just met somebody, blah, blah, blah. But that also reminds me of I grew up around girls from New Jersey, like Newark, New Jersey, East Orange, New Jersey. Nigga, your breath stink. That's what and what's crazy is if I heard that,
you just accustomed
I'm
to the honesty, to the
I'm
candor. It's just
I'm
like,
accustomed to it,
and
especially if
you
you
and
helping
you
me
don't
out.
take it personally. It's just it is what it
If
is. You
you
know what I'm
helping
saying?
me out, how could I?
Right,
If I'm
right.
like, "Oh, yo, you right?" Even though you said it however you said it, if it's actually affecting me and I could improve something about me based on what you're saying, yo, I don't even care what the delivery is, just deliver it. You get what I'm saying?
See, and
But
but that's a foreshadowing of if y'all had a relationship,
Mm.
she may be the type of person that is
Mm,
non-confrontational and doesn't even want to bring up a thing
mm,
just because it could be perceived as whatever. But then you need somebody to be direct with you,
definitely,
right?
definitely.
So
But also,
now I'm reading into it. I'm just trying to shoot you some bill, bro.
I
Because that
appreciate it.
I just
I
it hurts. It hurts
bro,
to hear like
bro,
that was the reason why y'all couldn't make it. It's
it's
like,
not.
hey, are you dehydrated? Like I know
Yeah,
we was on
yeah,
stage
yeah,
for a
yeah.
minute. You need some water because your breath is kind of. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like,
She could have said it
oh
in a
shit, I
sweet way
got
or something.
mi-
Exactly.
yeah,
But also,
yeah,
I
yeah,
have to shoot her some bail because she don't know what kinda dude I am, right? And so
yeah,
for
yep,
her
yep,
to protect herself with this
yep,
stranger, I'm still a stranger, even though, you know what I mean, like,
yeah,
TV knows me, blah, 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 or, internet, whatever, whatever, she still can't gauge how I would react to that. If I would start
hmm,
clowning her, if I would look at her like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I can't even be mad at the fact that she was uncomfortable to tell me that.
yeah,
And it just reminds me that I gotta just a little more often, man. Like that's just what it is. But I was just so
mhm,
confident because I had just brushed my teeth. I ain't eat nothing. I had the peppermints. Like I just knew I was good. And when she said it,
mm.
I was like, I know exactly why. So, hey, fellas, as much as you want to maintain your focus, that's some bullshit. No, I'm kidding.
You just gotta no, you gotta supplement.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
You pop one of them, and
And
then you
then
gotta
immediately
supplement
with
with
the
some
with the
mints,
peppermint. Yeah. 3 mints in my
straight
pocket.
up.
Bro, literally those 3 mints are still I'm looking at the 3 mints that were in my pocket. They're still sitting right there as a
Mm.
reminder. You're still sitting right there, bro. It's
So what you're saying is your breath still stink. Is that what you're saying? I'm just fucking with
never brushing my teeth again after that night.
you. Oh shit, that's crazy,
Yeah.
man. That's crazy.
That hurt.
Well, yeah, man. So you had that conversation, and then what transpired after that? Like,
So it was very much without giving too much and without putting her business out there. It was we were our and oh, I can say this too. I said in
hmm
the show that I'm just starting a new career because
hmm
I don't even think I got to tell her that I'm just moving back to the States after being out of the States for about 4 years. So
hmm
I'm saying I'm starting a new career, and I think for what she wants to do in the very near future, she wanted somebody that was more hands off of their career, right? Like I remember she popped on somebody because she said that she doesn't want somebody that works all that much or somebody that works too much. And
yeah,
for the very near future, wanted to I got the impression that she wanted to have somebody that was either, you know what I mean, like at a position where they could either delegate a lot or
hmm
are on the way out of their 9 to 5 on some like my entrepreneurial endeavors or making dividends, and I'm ready to kind of like have my life back, which I totally understand. I am not in that position for sure. I think I did it the opposite, and that's also something I wanted to talk to you about as well. And we always talk because you and I.
we kind of broached that a little bit.
Okay, okay.
That first, yeah, yep,
With what?
that first episode with
Oh,
the
yeah, 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 yeah. That's true. That's true.
talking about me going to corporate America for 10 years and all that type of stuff, and yeah,
So this was that part of it, right? This was that part that I
hmm
think was a big incompatibility, is that and
yeah,
a lot of people do the conventional thing. A lot of people encourage people to do that conventional thing. Hey man, hustle when you're young, when you got the energy, and then you can cruise when you're in your 40s and 50s and 60s and do whatever, whatever, whatever. And for me, it was like, well, two of the most important figures in my life didn't do that. Samurai Jack didn't do that. Samurai Jack, when he was young, he visited Asia, he visited North Africa, he visited all sorts of places to kind of to learn from the world before he came back and did his duty. And Jesus Christ did the same thing, right? Like Jesus Christ
mm,
he didn't yeah, even if what there was a story of like him preaching at 12 or something like that, but he didn't really get to the ground running until he was 30. And he had those couple of years and he was out. And I really feel like what could have taken me 10 or 15 years if I started when I was 20 or 25 could take me 3 years potentially because not only do I know who I am, but I've gained so many connections. I've gained so many experiences. I've gained so many ways of allocating resources to whatever I need. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been able to strategize.
Mhm, mhm.
I have all the puzzle pieces, so now I can put the puzzle together versus, starting with this one piece and then just waiting to get another piece and then adding it. So I say that to say this reminds me that I think that I need to seek a partner that is unconventional because I think I've lived a very unconventional life. And her and I didn't even talk about sailing. Her and I didn't even talk about, the Rajneeshis and wild, wild country. Her and I didn't even we didn't get to like who I am because I wasn't what she wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like we all have our image of our perfect person. And I think it may be all guys, it may not be, but I think guys are a lot more willing to entertain someone who isn't their ideal is already out, like, ready to get out of their 9 to 5 or whatever. But for me, again, she wasn't what I would have drawn up if I wanted to draw up my ideal person. But I was still very much interested in the things that she's doing and the way that she sees life more than what she looks like. So it was still a great experience. We had dinner that night. You know what I'm saying? We went out, we had dinner, we had drinks. Like it was still a very good evening. I think
Please tell me the show sponsored that.
bro, the show doesn't do anything but sponsor your
Oh
feed, dog.
my god. They don't even if you make a match, they don't even pay for dinner?
No, man. No, man.
Give you a gift card,
Wouldn't
like,
that be nice?
nigga, Red
Maybe.
Robin's
But again,
something. Come on, man.
bro, the show is 1 years old. The show is 1 year old, bro. This shit don't have no sponsor.
I don't care they doing numbers, bro. Like, they got a
They are.
budget.
They're doing
Let's
they're
not
doing
act
numbers.
like they don't got no budget, man.
Doing
Like,
numbers, man. They're doing numbers.
that's
Um,
crazy.
but yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Alright, man.
That's how it was.
Well, I for sure, bro. Like, look, we up against the clock. We gonna keep this consistent
Well
every
done, sir.
week.
Well done, sir.
And there's gonna be more that's gonna be revealed,
Maybe I'll do like
right? There's
live.
gonna be
If this drop
follow-ups,
yeah, 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 for sure.
lives, there's vlog content, you know what I'm saying?
I'll do some stories.
And there's other stuff from the show that, like you said, we can't speak on everything because there's other, so but yeah, I'm just looking forward to continue to carry on this
Hey,
conversation,
bro, you
bro.
killed this, bro. You killed
And
this, man.
nah, man, it's all you, bro. Like this is
Nah,
amazing,
that was
man.
really
So
that was really well. That was really well orchestrated, huh? You conductor,
for sure.
conductor. The
Conductor, we
really
have a
well
problem.
conductor. I love that tag. Don't you? I love that tag.
That's so fire.
Conductor.
That's so fire.
I'm gonna have to put that
Conductor,
in
we have a problem.
the pad.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
But I'll for sure let you close it out.
if this does numbers, if people are really interested in hearing more, please drop your questions in the comments because this is going on YouTube. I don't know why I had a brain fart like that. I'm gonna put clips up. I think this might actually have to go out before the other episode that we recorded because this is kind of time sensitive. So
Please do. Please do. Please do.
I'm really gonna get this out tomorrow. And well, yeah, I'm gonna get this out tomorrow. Probably won't. I'll edit all this out. But if you have questions that you need answered, if you were curious about anything, please drop your questions down low, and we'll either continue this, do another interview style if we have enough questions, or if there are a bunch of one-offs, I can just put it on. I'll do a live, or I'll just answer them in my stories or on the reel or something like that. As always, Swall Chops Podcast. You can find me at effabl.co, effable.co. That is also the website, and that is my Instagram handle. The website has a podcast, the website has a blog, the website has the archived radio shows. So please go check that out. As well as Mr. Socks and Sandals himself, Emmanuel Williams. Do you have a site for that for socks? Does it still live on SoundCloud?
Socks and Sandals podcast is still on all the
Oh,
outlets.
perfect.
Even though I'm not uploading any
Right,
new
right, right.
content, but the
It's still out there.
podcast,
And the
from
archives are classic.
2017,
Classic.
yeah,
I went
2017
triple.
to 2023 is still sitting there for
Awesome.
sure.
And please plug
But
plug
you
plug
can
your
you can
website.
find me on, yeah. If you want to get in contact with me, Emmanuel.did on Instagram. Learn more about me, what I do professionally, EmmanuelWilliams.co.
And please, the name of your TED Talk. Yeah.
Oh man,
Oh.
the crazy thing is, I changed the title so much, I be forgetting the title. The TED Talk. What is it? Reframe. What is it called,
We about to find
bro?
out right now. I got
Every time, bro. It's
reshaping
like
community
something.
narratives.
Yes, future frequency,
Mm,
reshaping community narratives. Yes,
there we go.
my TED Talk. It's on YouTube. Check it out.
Yo, E, thank you so much. I don't think I could have done. I know I couldn't have done this way. I couldn't have done it this seamlessly by myself. And I really appreciate you taking the time to do this with me. As always, we're going to be tapping in every week. You're going to hear from us, and we are going to try our best to drop these on Mondays. So you will be getting a lot of brand new content at the beginning of the week. So this week, not so much, last week as well. But you will be getting new content early on in the week, and I am committed to dropping this tomorrow. So I appreciate you very much, brother, and I will see you next
I
week.
appreciate you, man. Honored to share this moment with you, bro.
Honor, a pleasure, bro. It's all mine, man. Talk soon, bro.
Already. Yes, sir. Peace.